Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fate Extra. I'm Kurukan, and thank you for joining me. His story has ended, but what about yours? Before you write your own story, choose the vessel of your power. Yay, now we get to choose our servant. And, of course, we're going with Archer. I mean, who else would it be, really? Also, sorry about if you can hear that vehicle in the background. Some jackass is playing with their truck outside my wall. I always awaken very abruptly. I don't even think I dream. I suddenly find myself walking to school. My headache worsens every day. That's not what it said. Until it finally buzzes in my head like an alarm. That day, in potent numbness, I wake up twice as fast as normal. I walk to the schoolyard. It's clear and cloudless, 7:30 a.m. But what season is it? When I try to recall what season it is, I start to get so dizzy I almost pass out. I may wind up back in bed if I let go and faint. For some time, I haven't been embracing a rush of useless information. Excuse me. The normal stuff you'd see at a school, like the hustle and bustle of my classmates by the entrance. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. When I push the thought, my field of vision fizzles. Today, again today, there's a crowd of students milling in front of the school gate, and more are being directed that way. As to what's going on, there's a boy in a black uniform in the front of the school gate. He's my friend, as I recall. He's Issei Ryudo, as I recall. I remember this from the first time. When Issei notices me looking at him, he pushes through the crowd. Good morning. Lovely weather we're having, don't you think? Why do you look so surprised? We announced at last week's assembly that this month the student council would strictly enforce school rules. He runs through his spiel, as if this was the first time he'd ever disclosed the information. I already know this. I know it. I already know what happens. It's happened more than once. I'm seized by a headache. I'm so dizzy, I feel like I'm being forcibly logged out of my consciousness. First, let me check your student ID. I shouldn't need to remind you, but it should be on you at all times. My login ID is being checked. It's so obvious now. I answer clearly to the question that usually makes me go dizzy. And we're going with female Hakuno because she kicks ass. I guess we'll just use the canon name. I'm too lazy to think up a new one. We can't actually use the full name, not enough room, so we'll improvise. Yay! At least we can get the full nickname on there. Damn right it's okay. Great, there's no telling when an emergency might occur, and will be a help if you have your ID. I feel nauseous, and I know it has nothing to do with what I ate for breakfast this morning. I feel nauseous because of the world around me. It's repeating itself over and over, and that's making me sick. Now for the uniform inspection. Collar, check. Pant hems, check. And your socks, check. I want him to get out of my way. I want this repetition to stop. I push him aside and go forward. I'm not nice about it either. Next is the contents of your bag. Notebooks, textbooks, pencil box. Not even a whiff of contraband. Your nails are evenly cut, and your haircut is sensible. Indeed, quite remarkable. You're a model Sukumihara Academy student. I think I said it right this time. Yay! He keeps on talking loudly, even though he's facing no one. I have a headache. I'm shivering. I know one thing for sure. This is wrong. This is not the school I know. It can't be. I have to go. I have to hurry and wake up, or else it will be too late. But who am I awakening for? In case you haven't figured it out, this is the Shit Gets Real episode. Again. My anxiety and headaches are only getting worse. Afternoon arrives while I desperately try to find a way to escape this bizarre situation. As is now the norm, my vision is overlaid with some kind of unnatural distortion. Uneasiness, futility, emptiness. I want someone to explain to me the true nature behind all of these feelings. There must be a key somewhere, something that will have the answers to all of my questions. Okay, so, do these guys actually say anything? They do. By the way, if you weren't paying attention to the first 3 episodes, go back and watch them, and you can actually see both of the player characters in the background of scenes in the classroom. Let's see, I think... Yeah, that's the same line as before. But yeah, you can see both versions of Hakuno in the background in a few cutscenes. It's really cool because you won't realize it right away, then you'll like replay the game and surprise! So, this part here, I'm just looking for more, events in case there are some that I've never seen before, like there were in the first 3 days. Also, I'm sorry if I sound congested. It's because I'm congested. Again. Hey, there's the other guy. The moment I step foot on the first floor, my feelings of unease intensify. There's a student wearing a red uniform. Sorry. It's Leo, the new transfer student. The instant I lay eyes on him, I immediately feel intimidated and humiliated. Sorry for the coughing, guys. There's also someone trailing behind him. It looks like one of my classmates. The more I think, the more I realize that Leo isn't the only anomaly I've come across while on campus. There are other things that seem off as well. It's becoming clearer now. There are people who shouldn't exist, students that mysteriously vanish. The fabric of reality is coming unraveled. Don't turn away now. What is the truth? Don't turn away now. What defines the world you know? Don't turn away now. There's a reason why you're here. Come, do not allow yourself to close your eyes to the truth. Well, since they're telling me to go forward, I'm going to go forward. Leo and one of the guys from my class are talking in the hallway up ahead. The attention to detail is quite impressive. Even the surrounding air is surprisingly substantial. If that is the case, this world is in some ways more real than the real world it represents. How about you guys? What are your thoughts on this? You guys? For a moment, it feels as if he is including me in his comment. However, Leo begins speaking to my classmate, seemingly oblivious to my presence. Greetings. I believe this is the first time we've had an actual conversation. Leo gives me a smile with no hostility. However, I have the suspicion that there is something malicious behind his smile. Attending school wasn't half bad. I've never had the opportunity to go to one before now. In that respect, this has been quite an interesting experience. However, the time for fun has come to an end. I did not come here to play at being a student. No matter how enjoyable the detour, eventually one must return to their appointed path, and for me, the time to do so has arrived. With those final words, Leo turns his back on me. Farewell. No, that's not quite right. I don't think farewell would be accurate in this situation. For reasons I cannot explain, I have the distinct feeling that we will see each other again. So I guess I should use the more congenial see you later. Well, it's time for me to move on. I wish you the best of luck. I'm sorry if I'm sounding worse. My throat suddenly got completely plugged full of crap. Leo said as much, even going so far as to look in my direction. For some inexplicable reason, I'm not surprised that Leo knew I was spying on him. trying to get things straightened out in my mind when Leo suddenly disappears. The student who is following him also disappears after touching the same spot on the wall. At the same moment he vanishes, my vision distorts and the shock threatens to overwhelm me. What is going on here? I wonder if this place is the source of my unease. Only one way to find out. Let's poke at the wall! Like him, I place my hand on the wall, expecting to be drawn in. I see now that the way to the truth, to why I have these feelings, begins right here. Damn right I want to know! The atmosphere changes. There's a doorway, an entrance where the concrete wall used to be. It's not something of this world. There's no doubt this door leads to someplace unfathomable. I bid farewell to the false world and take my first step toward the truth. It's like we've seen this scene slightly different before. What was the last one? Steve? This one can be... No, the previous one was Jimmy, and the bad one was Bimmy. An entrance to another world. Beyond this world, the previous statement perfectly describes the view before me. Walking behind me is my strange silent attendant. It is to be my sword and shield for what lies ahead. A disembodied voice suddenly confirms my thought. Although I have yet to learn anything, I need to do something besides stand here. At the very least, there might be some clues to this bizarre experience up ahead. I have no choice but to head into the darkness with only this strange doll as protection. Well, if the first one was Jimmy and the bad one was Bimmy, or was it Billy? I can't remember. What should we call this one? This one can be... This one will be Bob. No, that's too cliche. I already said Steve, but that was the horse in Assassin's Creed 2. You can be Stanley. I don't know why I'm calling him Stanley. Does anyone know why I do half of these things? So by far you can tell this is the most exciting episode. Well, with the hallways and all. And somehow it's still less linear than Final Fantasy XIII. Sorry, I couldn't resist that joke. No longer a typical school campus, the floors and walls, the air, and even the aura are slightly off. It wouldn't surprise me to see a monster pop out from the shadows. It's very much like a dungeon here. Welcome, potential master. With a shocking suddenness, a voice begins speaking. It sounds like it's coming from the empty sky above. If you are looking for answers, you must reach the goal. Now please step forward. Wow, my voice is giving out already. I don't want to do it, but... Yeah, I can't do that, so... Please forgive me, I'll try to remember to cut this sound out. That was terrible. I'm so sorry, guys. The illuminated cube in front of you is called an item folder. Inside of it is a farewell present of sorts for those who are about to face the coming trial. Touch it to open it. I forgot to do the voice there. Yeah, I got an ether shard. Before you is an enemy program. It is programmed to attack on sight. Touching it will initiate a battle. But you won't actually fight as you are far too fragile. The effigy given to you will fight in your stead. If your effigy is destroyed in battle, you will no longer be shielded from harm. To put it bluntly, you will die. So be very careful in battle. But there's no need to be afraid, for now. Just do what I say, and you'll be perfectly safe for the time being. First off, why don't I explain a little bit about battles? 'Cause I've played this before! First of all, there are 3 basic commands that you can issue in battle. Attack, guard, and break. Each turn in battle is composed of 6 actions, and you'll need to tell your effigy what your strategy is to be. I almost missaid strategy. I'm not going to bother reading that because that doesn't matter to me at all, and it shouldn't to you because, well, you guys thankfully aren't playing. Or maybe you're unthankful you're not playing. I don't know. The enemy before you should be quite easy to defeat, as it will only perform Break. Break, which is focused solely on power, shouldn't be much of a problem against attack. Now use the attack command to destroy the program. Spoilers! Fine, I will! Come at me, bro! Well, Marvel's not gonna be happy. I just beat up the Watcher. Isn't the Watcher supposed to be like Stan Lee? Hey, Stan Lee versus Stan Lee. I am amused by my stupid jokes and I shouldn't be. So, how did it go? One thing to know is that in each turn you will have to plan a series of 6 moves that will defeat your foe. The goal is still far ahead. If you must bask in the afterglow of victory, do so while moving forward. Don't tell me what to do! Let me enjoy my victories my way, jerkwad! Oh, look, here comes another program. You seem nervous. Perhaps you're anxious about fighting in another battle. Do not be alarmed. That enemy isn't strong enough to harm you. It is programmed to only use attack. While attack is a potent action, using guard will allow you to defend and then counterattack. Guard can be used to reduce the damage caused by an enemy attack, but I trust you know this. Thank you, Captain Obvious! Now that you know how this battle will unfold, use the appropriate command to defeat the enemy program. I'm telling you not to tell me how to fight my battles! Tracer? Oh, that's gonna piss off the Overwatch fans. Kick its ass! Her ass! Its ass! Kick ass! Do shit, Stanley! And this is proof right here that Fate Extra is a better game than Overwatch. Because, my puppet just beat the poster child of Overwatch. I'm going to hell for that joke. Yes, that's exactly right. As you may have already noticed, performing 3 successful actions in a row results in a chain. By performing multiple chain attacks, you can perform a devastating follow-up attack to your opponent. Yay! While doing multiple chain attacks in the heat of battle may be difficult, the results make it worth the effort. Now please proceed. Can't I just sit here and cough a little more? I feel like coughing. I find it funny that they replay the tutorial every time you, continue, basically. You should be used to the fundamentals of battle at this point, but I'll walk you through this one last time. This program will use guard, and do nothing in battle but defend against harm. But no matter how stout one's defense may be, it will be all for naught against the break command. Remember, always use the appropriate command for any given situation. No shit, Sherlock. I'm not sure my puny human mind can comprehend that. This is kind of a lame tutorial, admittedly. Enforcer. I don't have a joke for Enforcer. Sorry. So, enforce my foot! My puppet man knows Kung Fu! You have been through 3 battles and have used the attack, guard, and break commands. Someone as intuitive and observant as you must have already noticed this. Each of the 3 attacks balances each other out, creating a situation where no attack is dominant. You could just call it rock, paper, scissors. What I just covered is the absolute basics of battle and the minimum info you'll need to know. Once you master the basics, all that's left is to test yourself in battle and gain valuable experience. Now please proceed. Don't tell me what to do! Although I need to do that because this is an LP and, well, we're trying to move the story forward. All of the enemy programs you've faced so far used only one move, which won't happen in a real fight. Like you, the enemies will choose their actions based on the situation and general observation. Their actions will be very difficult for you to predict at first. As you face the same enemy multiple times, you will be able to read their tendencies and patterns more accurately. Yeah, that's why I'm using a save file that I've already made. Although considering your lack of fighting experience, I may be expecting far too much from you. But anyway, please try your best. Okay. Do your kung fu! Kick its ass, Stanley! Behold my psychic powers! I totally knew what it was gonna do. Good job. Alright then, please proceed to the final room. I guess that's in this direction. Whoop! I didn't mean to do that. I guess there's no map for this area. I don't really need it, but it'd be nice to have it up. Oh my god! Actual story! I made it. At the end of a very long road, after going through a door that suddenly appeared in the wall, the oppressive air of this place where the spirits of the dead still linger. Here's my goal. That's what I thought. Further in, it appears as if someone had collapsed. When I look into his face, it's the student who was following Leo just now. I call out to him, but get no reply. I shake him in an attempt to wake him up when I notice he is stone cold. I go pale as the corpse before me, and I can no longer think coherently. All I can do is stare in bewilderment. It is at this moment the fallen effigy lying next to the male student comes to its feet with a clatter. After having to fight several enemy programs to get here, it's obvious that this thing is an enemy as well. Without warning, it suddenly twists around and comes right at me. Alright, bring it on, bro. I'm gonna totally trounce your ass. I'm totally not. So, we'll just half-ass this. Go kick ass, Stanley! Ha! I still got hit! You don't get a perfect! I ruined your perfect victory, you jackass! Stop hitting me! Again, half-ass it! That worked better than I thought it would. Oh no! Stanley's down! And so am I. Oh no! Game over! I failed! End of playthrough! Not really. What was that noise? I tried to go humph and I coughed in the middle of it. You seem to be lacking as well. I can hear the sound of a distant voice. The time has come. With your inevitable loss, I will consider this round of preliminaries to be over. Farewell. I pray you'll find peace in your annihilation. That is the voice's final words to me. I don't have the power to protest. All I can do is stare at the floor. I think I'm going to die here. Suddenly, at the edge of my now hazy vision, a number of brown-colored lumps seem to rise from the ground. Actually, it might just be that I didn't notice them until now. They may have been there from the beginning, for all I know. Those lumps are the bodies of an untold number of fallen Tsukumi-hara Academy students. That is such a hard name to pronounce. And that's a lot of dead people. The guy before me wasn't the only one to fall. All of the others made it here and died, unable to do anything. And in a very short while, I suppose I'll become one of them. Maybe I should just close my eyes now. I did all that I could, so maybe it'd be better for it to end now. Yeah, no, I refuse to give up. I refuse to give up. I summon all of my strength in an attempt to get back on my feet. However, as I try to move, an unbearably intense pain shoots through my entire body. If that's how it's going to be... No, if this is... I still refuse to give up. That's right. I can't give up now. Even if I'm forced to concede defeat eventually, it'd be unforgivable to do so now. I feel as if something's wrong. All of my senses grow faint. The pain running through my body has long passed my ability to endure it. I know now what the damned suffer. Even so, I must stand. The drive to go on is something I do not understand. It's not like the fear of death is urging me to not give up. I just want to be at peace. Keeping that in mind, why am I trying with all of my might to get back on my feet? I cannot figure out the reason why. I don't know why my life needs to be ended. Why am I here? I understand now. That must be the reason why. There were those many corpses. There were those many questions. Now I can't continue without knowing. No. Now that my spirit has been awakened, I cannot allow things to come to an end without knowing. As a representative of the Holy Grail, I can hardly ignore such overpowering doubt. You question your own existence even as it comes to an end, and see your own shortcomings as death approaches. Very well. I expect much from that spirit of yours. There's a servant left that I think fits a human like you. A nondescript legendary soul fighting for a nameless master. I look forward to your valiant efforts in battle. Oh yeah! Shit's getting real now! Time for some badassness! The sound of breaking glass is accompanied by a light cutting through the gloom. I manage to move my weary body and aching head to see what's happening. I didn't notice it before, but something was slowly rising up from the floor in the middle of the room. That form... freaking pure badass! Its appearance isn't much different from that of a human being, but something was different. Clearly so. The power emanating from it transcended that of any human or of any enemy I faced in getting here. An awesome power that seems as if it'd vaporize anyone it touches swirls within my body, almost against my will.
ひどい話だ。間違っても呼ばれることなどないように祈っていたが、全くの徒労とはな。
Yeah, he's not a smartass or anything.
どんな時代でも働き者ということか。いいだろう。せいぜい無駄なあがきをするとしよう。
We get it. You can make fun of me.
先帝の声に応じ参上した。俺のような役立たずを呼んだ大バカ者はどこにいる？
Yo.
認めたくないが、この場にいる人間は君一人。念のため確認しよう。君が私のマスターか？
Yeah, you better believe it, bitch.
そうか。こちらに拒否権はないとしても、またおかしなマスターにぶつかったな。しかし、契約は契約だ。力を貸そう。
Yay.
君は先ほど、なぜと叫び続けた。
Oops.
Sorry, I skipped the
悪く
title
ない
up
願いだ
there.
ろう。その願いの終わりまで共に歩み、共に戦うことを、ここに誓おう。
Stop putting so many pauses in your speeches. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to skip or talk over his dialogue. He takes a hold of my hand and helps me to my feet. From the hand he grabbed comes a sudden warmth, and then a sharp pain, like I've been cut by a knife. On the back of my hand, as though tattooed, is a strange symbol that looks like some kind of crest. Totally confused, I alternate between staring at the mark on my hand and the person standing before me. And then... a noise behind me brings me back to my senses. Turning around, I see that the effigy from before is still there, now in a fighting stance. I wince uncontrollably, recalling my previous defeat at its hands. This seems to be as good of an opportunity as any for you to show me your skills as a master. Really, it's nothing to get worked up over. I'm not going to be at my best with a novice master, though. Whatever, I'm used to getting the short end of the stick. Just show me as much power as you can.
片付ける。下がっていろ。
I can't do a good Kaiji Tang impression, and that's who I was trying to match. So, yeah, go kick its ass, dude. I love the way the fighting looks in this game. It's not quite, UFO table level, but it looks cool. Oh, that is a fantastic Archer-style beatdown. Kick its ass, dude. What is it with this? What is it with this channel and silver-haired guys clad in red cloaks? I guess it's just this channel's identity. The battered effigy stops moving. There's no way it'll still function after being effectively torn apart. I guess I can give you a passing grade. Barely. I expect more from you in the future. He continues to talk. However, the sound of his voice doesn't quite reach my ears. The heat coming from the mark on my hand grew in intensity during the fight, and the resulting pain has become unbearable and burns through my consciousness. The mark imprinted on your hand is your command seal. It is the proof that you hold dominance over a servant. You can use it to give 3 orders that must be obeyed. Think of them as disposable strengthening spells. It is also proof of your participation in the Holy Grail War. If you lose it for some reason, you will die. Once again, I hear that voice. I somehow manage to ignore the pain and listen to what it has to say. I can understand your confusion, but before I forget, congratulations! You have endured much to make it here. Now rest for a while. You've achieved your first goal. It was an incredibly clumsy effort, to say the least, but that's what made it all the more entertaining. I've had this duty for a long time, but this is the first time I've seen a master as helpless as you. Nevertheless, be proud of your achievement. Your quick thinking came as a result of your nerves and rashness. Thinking about it, the voice sounds like that of a 30-year-old man, and it's really irritatingly smug. For some reason, I can see the owner of the voice as a priest, dressed in a somber cassock. Cassock? Cassock? I don't know how to pronounce that word, sorry. Oh, and you are curious about my identity? I am honored, but I am insignificant. I'm merely a part of the system. I'm just a guide, tasked with giving a personal, standard message and given the personality of a prior participant. I'm no more than words. I cannot speak today. No more than the mountain you just conquered. No more than a record of the past. A record? So if I raise any objections to this voice, does it mean I won't receive any answers in return? Exactly. Well, this is unexpected. You have received a commendation. Something about you having a light. I have no clue who would say such a thing about me. But that short phrase stuck in my heart because, for some unknown reason, I knew the words were sincere. As for, I expect great things from you, it seemed like more of a command than an encouragement. Now, let us commence your baptism. You have proven yourself worthy of the honor. For most, the monotony everyday life continues without end. I'm sorry, I keep botching up these lines. Your decision to look beyond the accepted and progress means you have earned the right to exist. However, you have but taken the first step. Be jubilant, young knight, for the Holy Grail War begins now. I have no idea what he's talking about. The Holy Grail War? The right to exist? That is correct. An object of great power once existed in the world. One that could grant any desire. People called it the Holy Grail and endlessly in an attempt to gain sole possession of it. This war, the system you find yourself in now, is an evolution of those struggles. You stand at the entrance of deadly struggle, where many magi will perish in pursuit of the Holy Grail. Listen, magi, had I not bestowed upon the earth desire, you'd be merely saints capable of committing sin. Now fight to the death. The fiery throne of heaven will receive those with the strongest of desires. The voice reverberates throughout this hidden chapel, as if it were the voice of a god. Kill? Magi? Holy Grail that grants wishes? These questions and more swirl inside my head and almost seem to carve themselves into my flesh. In a war, a weapon is needed. That is your servant. There the spear that pierces, the shield that protects. A legendary soul whose purpose is to clear your way to the Grail. That is the one who stands beside you. Behind you. Yes, he is totally behind me. I glance over at the young man in red standing next to me, who glances at me and then looks away. He's my servant. It seems you have decided, and with that decision as payment, I will now open the gates to the Holy Grail War. The marks on my hand, my command seal, once again begin to become excruciatingly painful. It's over. I can't take it anymore. I reach the limits of my endurance, and my mind starts to shut down. As I lose consciousness, I can vaguely hear the voice's final words. Now, let the Holy Grail War begin. No matter the era, deciding who is worthy through battle is the divine providence of man. Magi who have been invited here by the moon. Show me your true strength. I screwed it up at the end. Also, how come he didn't say rejoice? You know, I'll say it for him. Rejoice! Okay, I'm going to end the episode here, so thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back for the next one.